It is a long story. I was born out of wedlock in a home of an old man called Gao. And when I was born an intersex. Yes, a person with two genders, man, male and female, yes. I was given only one name by my mom, Moses. I was not given another name. I was only having one. So when it reached in the year, I can't remember. I was in school, but there were needed another name. When I was going to do my exams, for class 8, then I came up with a new name, Utien. No, that is my own name. I just cooked it, so I gave myself a name of Utiena.
Yes.
Yes. So those were the names I used in my documents.
Yes.
And because I was born out of wedlock, I have another father.
Yes.
In the home of another father. So that my father, who is in Zanzibar, gave me a name called Darlan Rukih. When I was born, he also gave me that name, but it was not applied in the home of Gao where I was brought up. So I did not use that name of Darlan Rukih, but I just used the name of Moses, within which I cooked myself.
So that is to mean that your real father is from Zanzibar?
Yes, my father is from Zanzibar. I was told so.
Oh, so you've not met your real dad in person?
Yes, we have tried. We have met once.
Okay. So Apostle, that is to mean that
the religion, I am a Christian, but they are Islamic, so the religion barrier sometimes makes us not to be together. But I was brought in the home of Gao, so I am much comfortable with being a child of Gao. So even Gao was not free to take me as a child, his child, but now he's already dead also, but I'm much comfortable being in the home of Gao.
Yes, so that is to mean that you were brought up in Western Kenya?
I was brought up in Migori County, Western Kenya.
Yeah, and so Apostle, if you could please tell us, so what was it like growing up for you? Did you have the normal childhood, or were there special issues that happened, or special occurrences that happened in your life that you really left there with us, maybe? How was your childhood generally?
Yes, I was born. Let me take this fresh. Yeah, I was born. Yes, as a normal child, as people, but with 3 different things in me. First of all, I was born out of wedlock, but I was brought up in the home of my stepfather called Gao in Karumu, Sori, Migori County, South Nyanza. It was a great challenge to me because I used to identify myself as a child to Gao, but Gao was a polygamist, so the wives and my brothers in that home did not accept me, and they were not comfortable to take me as their brother or their fellow brother or a sister in that home. That is the first challenge I faced. During that time, Magda was not at home. He was at the place where he was working in Kisumu, and he used to take a long time before he comes back home. So I could not even get anything from him, whether he supported his people, he also rejected me as his family member, or what. Now I did not, I was not aware of that. Secondly, I was born an intersex, just as I have said.
Yes.
A person with two organs, both organs of a female and a male. Yes. This was also a great challenge to me because my mother identified me as a male. So when I was brought up as a male, knowing that me, I'm just a male because who's bearing with the side of a man. So to me, I knew that I was just a male. But when I became of age, when I went to play with my fellow young children, if I go to join female, they just go to men. If I go to men, go to women. So it was a great challenge to me. I was not accepted in any group, all those groups. So this also made me to become a rejected child amongst my brothers and sisters in that home where I was brought up. Nobody accepted me there just because of my gender. It was a challenge. My stepfather Manga was still away, so I could not know his thought about that. Thirdly, because of the rejection I was getting from being born out of wedlock and being born with the intersex, as an intersex, made me to become a rejected child in that home, in that place. So this made me to seek for a consolation where I could get consolation. And my mother was a strong religious member of Christianity. It is called the church was called Roho Israel in that region. So I tried to join my mother, following my mother in that religion, because I was also born with a heart of fearing God. I feared God when I was still young. So this made me to join the Roho people so that I could get consolation, because it was very much hostile to me in both sides. No children, no old people, anybody accepted me. And they were even persuading other people not to accept me by saying that if they will allow me or play with me or eat together with me, they will also give birth to children like me. So where the only place I could get consolation was on the church, because them they were saying that God is the creator of everything. So that made me to know that, oh, even me, I was just created by God. So those three things, being born out of wedlock, made me to be rejected in my life, and born an intersex made me also to be rejected. And again, that the heart of fearing God also made me to be rejected, because when my fellow age mates and even the older people in that home, when they saw me joining and being stuck in a religious way, they also again starting to complain by saying, what have I done? And I'm still a child. It means that I'm an evil child. That's why I am trying to go to religious people to hide there. So maybe I'm a child with a bad character. That is why I am getting deep into religion, or being a religious child. So that also created rejection of it. So when I was about 13 or 14 years old, that made me to not even to go to school. Well, I started going to school when I was 10 years old. I started late in the school called primary school called Gunga Primary School, where I tried, but because of that rejection also followed me in school. I dropped Gunga. I went to another school in Sunamidori called Sibuoche Primary School in Migori. Then the same rejection made me to get out of that school. I came back to Rabukarubu Primary School. The same rejection when I was in Rabukarubu. Now I was about 13, 14 years. So during that time, I faced a lot of rejection, much more than the way I had already experienced it, because during that time is where I started experiencing my menstruation period, and it started in school, when I was in school, and I was not aware because I was just dressing up like a man. I was not dressing up like a female.
Yeah.
Because I was just P was my P. I was just I knew that I was just a man, and that plays my part of a female. I just thought it was just like fun, but not something which could work.
Yeah.
So I started experiencing blood, and it was not me. There was a brother to me called Asito Bondo. My brother, my step brother, is the one who came to realize that there is something, the blood is coming out of me. When I was dressed up with a short, a brown short and a white shirt. So he asked me if something has chopped me, and I told her, when I realized that, I went to the toilet to see during that time, and another teacher, there was a teacher, a female teacher, saw me and came to me. I don't know how she discovered that I was.
Was that in school or was that at school?
Huh?
So you started experiencing menstruation, was it at school or at home?
At school. I was in school. So that teacher came to me. It was about at break time. So that teacher came and gave me a certain cloth to cover, to put down or to my short trouser. So, and she told me that I should just go home. So to me, I just thought maybe it's just kind of sickness. I was not aware that it might be something permanent. So when I went home, my mother started crying after telling her what is happening. She cried and cried, and very early in the morning she told me that I want to take you to the hospital. Then she took me to the hospital. The near hospital there was called Suri Dispensary. So there, the doctor was called Maganya. It was a dispensary, and the nurse was called, I don't know, but I know she was the wife of to a teacher called Doracho. So when they started doing their examinations, the Dr. Maganya told my mother, and Till when will you cover this child without telling him or her the truth? You are supposed to tell this child the truth that he or she was born with two genders. She is a woman and he is a man. So there is no way we can cover. When will you cover him until he dies? I want us to tell him. Then he turned to me and told me, you know, my son, I don't want you to be worried. There is no medicine we can give you to stop this masturbation period. Unless you are taken to the hospital, which is in Nairobi. I was not aware of that hospital. That is Kenyatta. Then the doctors will do their examinations, and when they will get the side more stronger than the other, if they can separate, they can take the one which is weak out and remain with the one which is strong. They can advise, but by now nothing I can tell you to stop this. You have both organs. So
could it be that up to that point you had not known that you were not aware that you were born like that? Or was it that you were imagining that maybe all the other children are like that up to that point?
Because of the rejection and people were abusing me all the times.
Yes.
This made me to realize that I am different from the children, because even my mother told me, stopped me that I should not go and bathe with the other children. I was always locked in the house and near her, and she could not even allow me to come together with men. She was very much curious for me that I should not join up with men. Maybe I can join up with ladies, with children, with girls, and not with men. So I was a little bit aware of that, but I didn't think that maybe it is something very, very much hard. So it was during that time, after getting out of the hospital, the doctor told me that you can find a way to help this child before it is late. But because I was brought up in a poor family and that rejection, so we went back. I went back home crying hardly because to me it was like the doctor was confirming the blasphemy. I was being blasphemed with amongst my age mates and the people who were abusing me all the times. Then again, my mother took me to another hospital called Matoso, where it was a mission school in Kadem. There was a certain lady there, a white lady, who also did examination to me and just advised me to accept that I was born that way, and there is no way I can change it unless I am taken to another level of medication to be operated and remove the other side of me, and the remaining can be there. So that lady tried to help me, because since then she was going to Italy, and when she comes back she was bringing me some drugs I was taking to strengthen. She told me that she will be giving me some, she will be bringing me some medicines to strengthen my part of a man, so that I may be seen as a man. Because during that time my hips started developing, my breasts also started developing. So she told me she will be bringing to me some medicines which will helped me to have a look of a little bit a man. And I was so much happy with that. So that is how it was. Then when it reached the year 1991, my father, stepfather Mangao, came at home now, because all those times we were just living at home, and my stepfather Mangao was not around. So when he came, I thought that maybe he will stand with me, because to me, I just knew I was his child, not a child, another person's child, though the people in that home were denying that. So when he came, he was the first person to start abusing me, telling me that I am not his child. And he asked me why my mother has not yet told me that I'm not his child. And again, he continued telling me that he can never give birth to a child of this, of both men and female gender. So he told me that he cannot accept that. And I am also cheating people that I'm a religious person, though I am not. It is just the demons from my mother's land, which came from the home of my mother in Sakwa. So this old man rejected me completely and told me that I was not his child, which made me to go and even to hang myself or to commit suicide. I tried a lot, but there was a lady, an old woman called Leonora Nyamaura, who rescued my life during that day, because I did not want him to reveal that, though I had already knew that I am not as the same as other children, but to him, I did not want him to say it publicly, because I thought that could made people to harshly treat me much more the way they had been doing it. So after that, it turned very wild to me all the times, much more than anybody in that home. So that is the experience I had in my life when I was a child. So that made me to not to go well even in school. I think you hear my English, they are very much weak. I just tried, but by the grace of God, I went to school. Where I finished my class 8. I went to Form 1, which I did not do it well. My class 8, I didn't do it well. But because during that time people were just joining, children were allowed to join whether you didn't meet the level of the standard needed. So I decided to join secondary school in Luanda Konyango. There I went to school from 1, from 2. When it reached Form 3, because I did not have anybody to start with me, and the school fee was accumulated that I could not even pay. So I decided to go to find another school where I can do my 4th form. During that time, I was a preacher and a singer. I was singing even in school. I was preaching in school and praying for the people. And those people who I was praying for were the people who were supporting me with the school fee, because no one was bothering to pay any school fees, any support. I was just left alone that way. So after that, I started preaching. So through my preachings, I went to a place called Guasi when I was in 3 now, planning to join for my form. When I went to Kwasi, I was invited with a preacher called Manyango Machogu, a brother to Odero Machogu of the Church of Urufisi. When I went there, they welcomed me. I taught the word of God and preached the word of God. Then after that, on my way coming back, I met a certain lady called Presi Kanfao, and that lady told me that the Church of God people wants to make her get married, and she is still going to school. She's studying 8, and she should just wish to be married. If it is time for marriage, she would wish to be married with a person like me. When I heard that shocked me, because since my childhood to that time, I had never had any relationship with a lady or a man, because I feared men, and with me, I feared men that they might pregnate me, because my mother told me that I should not go near to men because they will pregnate me, and I will be just beaten and be killed. So I was very much afraid of them. And ladies also I was afraid of, because I knew that this lady, maybe if I may approach any of them, they will abuse me, that I am just like them. So this...
But Apostle, out of curiosity, was there that attraction to any gender during that period, the adolescence period? Was there any attraction to male or male?
To me, I was very much attracted to ladies, not to men. Even though sometimes I could feel to be loved, to get somebody, but because of what my mother planted in me, that if I got near to men, they will pregnant. I will get pregnant and I will be killed. So I just knew it, that maybe that is just a perverted mind which I could not allow. So anytime I think of a man, I brush it off. And if I see any man coming closer to me, I change it and become harsh. And I want to behave like a man. So I was just like much more with ladies than men. But I feared both of them, to approach both of them. So during that time when my President Fao told me that she's interested to get married to me, I said I was shocked, because I did not even thought of having a woman that I could marry. It was not in my mind that I could get any lady or a man who could accept me. To me, I had already planned that I will just live a celibate life without getting into any marriage, because since my childhood I've been just alone with my mother. So my mother, we were together with my mother during the talks of this lady and other people, church members. Then I saw my mother and other church members embracing this child with love, mostly my mother. Then my mother started building up friendship between her and the lady. So this lady would come, Jessica would come to visit her at home, where we were living in the home of Magdao while I was in school. So when it reached the year 2006, December 23rd, this lady came to visit my mother, and I was in school. When I came back, I got her in our house. Then we were not having any relationship, anything, but I was just seeing her. She's a friend of my mother, our friend in God. So when it reached that it was on Monday, because it was on Friday, she came Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then Monday morning, this lady left to Sori, going to see she told us she was going to see her mother. Though I left before she left, I went to school before she had left. So I went, and I went to school. When I came back, there was some books I left at home, so I forgotten. I came back to collect my books. I got everybody in the home saying I am already married. When I reached the story, people were saying, greeting me, we have heard that you are married. Given